sad that we've gone through the process if that is the outcome.
I'm conscious that as a Conservative backbencher loyally supporting the government in season and in out, I am probably a member of this House worthy of least consideration when it comes to discussing the contents of this bill, despite my having taken part at every stage in its debate so far. I think I'm forgiven for being somewhat confused. We started out with a proposal for a statutory tort, which I'm going to call hard tort, which I loyally turned out to support, not only out of loyalty, but also because I strongly believe in it. When we came to report stage, I, recognising that there were some concerns about it, had the privilege to table an amendment in my own name, but it had previously been tabled in committee by my noble friend Lord Sandhurst, which would have retained the tort, but allowed a judge to stay proceedings and instruct mediation to take place. I thought that was a good compromise that could have been accepted. I'm going to call that middle tort. But my noble friend, the Minister, had preempted me to some extent by coming forward with a proposal which allowed the tort to be accessed only after every possible complaints procedure had been exhausted. We might call that soft tort. Your Lordship's House voted for soft tort and then went with Lord Willits and voted to remove the clause altogether in addition, which we can call no tort. Today I turn out loyally, because I'm encouraged to do so, in order to vote for hard tort. And here I am, and with only half an hour to go, I see that Lord Willits has by now moved to the soft tort position, and with only half an hour to go, I find that I'm expected to give my support to soft tort. And so this is not simply a question of how do you manage your team. That's a minor consideration, a pure whipping matter. It is a consideration of what is it that we are actually saying to the world with these goings-on. The noble Lord Treesman said that the important thing here is that the bill sends a signal to universities. It does, in my view, send a signal to universities. It says that this Parliament and this government is not as concerned about how universities conduct themselves to maintain the freedom of speech, as a principle and as an activity as the government originally said they should be. That is clearly the signal that it sends, and it is clearly the case that the strong emphasis being placed, and I've said this before in committee, the strong emphasis being placed on the role of the regulator is because regulators are subject, wherever they appear, to capture by those being regulated, and that is very much, in my view, why it is that those who support this and the university leaders are very comfortable with it. Like the noble Baroness Lady Fox of Buckley, I note that in the various choices between hard tort, soft tort, mid tort and no tort, we will have, at the end of this debate, no idea. Because my noble friend has said that when it returns to the Commons, as it must now, there will be the scope for further compromise, and who knows what is going to come back, hard, mid, soft, nothing. It could be anything that comes back to us from the Commons, because clearly the government doesn't really know what it wants to do about this. I strongly suggest to noble lords that not only have we misconducted ourselves as far as the management of this is concerned, but we are sending a very, very poor signal indeed. It is most regrettable that we are today going to agree to the amendment in the name of my noble friend Lord Willits. That is most regrettable, and like the noble Baroness Lady Fox of Buckley, I very much hope that when the bill comes back from the Commons, somebody will have found their backbone and the tort will have been restored.
My Lords,